Today I'm going to show you guys how to make this filthy screech in Serum. Let's do it. Open up Serum, sound like this. Boom. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on oscillator A and B. We're going to turn our unison all the way up to 16 on both oscillators. Now it should sound like this. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our blend all the way up and the detune all the way up on oscillator B. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our blend all the way up on oscillator A, and we're going to turn our detune all the way to 0.47 on oscillator A. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up our LFO1 right off the bat. So we're going to move this, our peak on LFO1, we're going to move this peak dot over, boom. We're going to move this bottom dot all the way to about right here. And you're just going to have to approximate. You just have to get in the ballpark. It's not like critically important. It's just fine tuning. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make two new dots. We're going to just double click twice in random spots here. And then we're just going to move this first one down like this. And then we're going to adjust this one to be a straight line. Then we're going to go to our peak here, and we're going to move this back to about right there. Make that a line like a slope, and then move this one down. Boom. Now we have that. Now we've got a bop, bop, bop. We got a bop, bop, bop. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our noise oscillator on. Go ahead and select ARP pink. Turn our level up to about minus 10 dB. So sound like that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to hop into our effects section. We're going to turn our distortion on right off the bat. We're going to turn our drive up to about 60%. Should sound like this. Turn our compressor on, click the multi-band dial, throw our threshold to about minus 11.6. Listen closely. On our high band, we're going to move it to 93%. On our mid-range band, we're going to move it to 173%. All right, about there. And then our low band, just turn it all the way to the left to 0. Now it should sound like this. Nice. Turn our reverb on. Move the dry wet to about 22%. Turn our EQ on, move it above the compressor. Right off the bat, we're going to go to the gain dial. We're going to move the gain dial to about 2 dB. And we're going to change these 3 selectors. Just select the bottom one. Boom. Turn our Q down to about 47%. Turn our frequency to about 267. It should sound like this. We're going to turn our hyperdimension on. We're going to turn our dry wet, or our mix here on the dimension knob. We're going to turn it to 50%. We're going to turn our size down to 2%. We're going to change our mix dial on the hyper section of this to 2% as well. And it should sound like this now. Nice. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to adjust our levels on oscillator A and B. First thing we're going to do is going to turn oscillators A's level to about minus 15.4. We're going to turn oscillator B's level to about minus 9.8. Should sound like this. Sick. Turn our filter on. We're going to go to the miscellaneous section and select reverb filter. We're going to change our resonance to 40%. And we're going to change our cutoff to 8%, or 8 hertz rather. And we're going to make sure that this end button is on. And now it should sound like this. Now, for the final bit of sauce here, we're going to go to our matrix. We're going to go to our source. We're going to select LFO1 as our source. Our destination is going to be global, master tuning, auxiliary source, mod wheel. Keep the output all the way up. Now, the crucially important part is these last 2 steps. We're going to go ahead and turn the amount to 2, and we're going to turn our mod wheel, which is not this left dial. This left thing is your pitch bend. We're going to turn our mod wheel all the way up to 100%. And you ready? It should sound like this. To get this to sound exactly how we want is turn the BPM off on LFO1, and then turn your trigger on LFO1, and then turn the rate to 15.2. Next thing we're going to do is turn our mono legato on, and we're going to turn our porta to about 45 milliseconds. And you ready for this? It should sound like this. Now you're screeching, baby. Boom.